Do you ever wonder why love always seems to slip through your fingers like sand? Why does every relationship begin with such promise, only to crumble into dust when you least expect it? Are you the common denominator in your own romantic failures, yet blind to the very patterns that ensure your solitude? My friend, I am Napoleon Hill, and I have spent decades studying the minds of both the most successful and the most tormented souls on this earth. Today I speak to you about a truth so profound yet so painful that most will close their ears to it. You are not the victim of circumstances in love. You are the architect of your own romantic destruction. You sabotage your relationships and you don't even know it. That's why she always leaves. Write "I will be better now" in the comments if you're ready to face this uncomfortable truth and transform your love life forever. The human mind, in all its magnificent complexity, harbors within it the seeds of both creation and destruction. In matters of the heart, we become our own worst enemies, wielding invisible weapons that destroy the very thing we desire most, genuine, lasting love. You see, the subconscious mind does not distinguish between what you want and what you fear. It only responds to the dominant thoughts and emotions you feed it daily. Most men walk through life believing they are seeking love, when in reality they are unconsciously programming themselves for rejection and abandonment. This is not mere coincidence, nor is it fate playing cruel tricks upon the innocent. This is the law of attraction working with mathematical precision, manifesting exactly what your inner world commands it to create. Think back to your last relationship, the one that filled you with hope, the one where you thought this could be the one. Remember how it began, the butterflies, the late-night conversations, the feeling that you had finally found someone who truly understood you. Now remember how it ended, not with a dramatic explosion, but with a slow, inevitable erosion of connection. She became distant, your conversations became shallow, and eventually she left, often giving you reasons that felt inadequate or confusing. You blamed compatibility, you blamed timing, you blamed her inability to appreciate what you offered. But what if I told you that from the very moment you felt that first spark of genuine connection, you unconsciously began the process of destroying it? The truth is that you have been conditioned, perhaps from childhood, perhaps through painful past experiences, to believe that you are not worthy of lasting love. This belief, buried deep in your subconscious mind, operates like a computer program running in the background of your consciousness. It influences every word you speak, every action you take, and every emotion you project in the presence of someone you care about. Let me share with you the story of a young merchant named Marcus, who lived in ancient Rome. Marcus possessed everything a man could desire: wealth, status, intelligence, and striking good looks. Women were naturally drawn to him, and he never lacked for romantic opportunities. Yet despite his obvious advantages, Marcus found himself alone time and time again, watching as the women he loved most deeply inevitably chose other men over him. Marcus would court these women with grand gestures, shower them with expensive gifts, and declare his devotion with passionate speeches. He would make himself completely available to them, canceling important business meetings to spend time with them, neglecting his friendships, and structuring his entire life around their schedules and preferences. In his mind, he was being the perfect lover, demonstrating his commitment through total sacrifice and devotion. But something strange would happen in every relationship. The more Marcus gave, the less interested these women became. The more available he made himself, the more they seemed to pull away. The more he professed his love, the more distant they grew. Eventually, each woman would tell him that while she cared for him deeply, she didn't feel that spark anymore, or that she needed space to find herself, or that she had met someone else who made her feel things she couldn't explain. Marcus would rage against the injustice of it all. How could they choose lesser men over him? How could they walk away from someone who loved them so completely and unconditionally? What he failed to understand was that his very approach to love was the poison that killed it. You see, Marcus suffered from what I call the paradox of desperate love. His fear of being abandoned caused him to behave in ways that guaranteed abandonment. His deep-seated belief that he was not inherently worthy of love drove him to try to earn it through sacrifice and submission, not understanding that love cannot be earned, it can only be attracted. Like Marcus, you may be falling into the same ancient trap. When you meet someone who stirs something deep within you, your subconscious mind immediately begins to calculate the risk of loss. This person could hurt me, it whispers. This person could leave me like the others did. And in response to this fear, you begin to engage in behaviors that feel like love but are actually expressions of your own insecurity and desperation. You become what I call a love beggar, someone who unconsciously communicates through their actions that they believe they must earn affection through constant giving, endless availability, and the sacrifice of their own identity. You mistake intensity for intimacy, possession for passion, and neediness for devotion. The irony is profound and tragic. The very behaviors you believe will secure love are the behaviors that repel it. When you make someone the center of your universe, you unconsciously communicate that you have no universe of your own. When you become completely available, you signal that your time has no value. When you shower someone with constant attention and validation, you reveal that you do not believe you are worthy of receiving the same in return. Women, despite what popular culture might tell you, are not attracted to men who worship them. They are attracted to men who inspire them to become their best selves. They are drawn to men who have their own missions, their own purposes, their own rich inner lives that exist independently of any romantic relationship. They want to be chosen by someone who has other options, not someone who clings to them out of desperation and fear. Your subconscious mind, programmed with limiting beliefs about your own worth, creates what I call attraction-repulsion patterns. These are automatic behaviors that emerge whenever you feel a deep connection with someone. The stronger your feelings become, the more these self-sabotaging patterns activate. Perhaps you become overly agreeable, losing all sense of your own preferences and opinions in an effort to avoid conflict. Perhaps you become possessive and jealous, constantly seeking reassurance about their feelings for you. Perhaps you begin to monitor their social media obsessively, analyzing every interaction for signs of waning interest. Perhaps you start planning your future together after just a few dates, speaking about commitment and exclusivity when the relationship is still in its fragile early stages. All of these behaviors stem from the same root cause, a fundamental belief that you are not enough as you are. This belief creates a constant state of anxiety and insecurity that you project onto your partner, making the relationship feel heavy and suffocating rather than light and joyful. Marcus learned this lesson the hard way. After losing yet another woman he truly loved to what seemed like inexplicable circumstances, he sought counsel from a wise philosopher named Aurelius. The old man listened to Marcus's story with patience and compassion, then offered him a truth that would change his life forever. "Marcus," Aurelius said, "you have been trying to quench your thirst by drinking salt water. The more you drink, the thirstier you become. Love is not something you can capture through effort and strategy. It is something that flows naturally between two people who are complete within themselves. You must learn to love yourself first, not as a strategy to attract others, but as the foundation upon which all genuine relationships are built." This wisdom initially infuriated Marcus. How could self-love be the answer when he felt so much love for others? How could focusing on himself be the path to connection with someone else? But as he reflected on his past relationships, he began to see the pattern Aurelius had illuminated. In every relationship, Marcus had unconsciously communicated through his behaviors that he needed the woman to validate his worth, to make him feel complete, to fill the void he felt within himself. He had been trying to use love as a drug to numb his own feelings of inadequacy, and women could sense this energetic neediness even when his words and actions seemed generous and loving. The truth that Marcus discovered, and the truth that you must face, is that neediness is the death of attraction. When you need someone to love you in order to feel worthy, you energetically push them away. When you make your happiness dependent on their affection, you burden them with a responsibility that no human being can carry. When you lose yourself in the relationship, you become someone they no longer recognize or feel attracted to. Your subconscious programming around relationships was likely formed during your earliest experiences with love and attachment. Perhaps you learned that love was conditional, something that had to be earned through perfect behavior or constant achievement. Perhaps you experienced abandonment or rejection at a crucial developmental stage, creating a deep fear of being left alone. Perhaps you witnessed unstable relationships in your family and unconsciously absorbed the belief that love is inherently temporary and unreliable. These early imprints create what I call love scripts, unconscious patterns of thought and behavior that replay automatically in your adult relationships. You may intellectually understand that these patterns are self-destructive, but because they operate below the level of conscious awareness, they continue to sabotage your relationships until you develop the awareness and tools to reprogram them. The most insidious aspect of relationship self-sabotage is that it often disguises itself as virtuous behavior. You tell yourself that you're being loving when you're actually being needy. You believe you're being supportive when you're actually being possessive. You think you're being romantic when you're actually being desperate. This self-deception makes the pattern incredibly difficult to recognize and change. Consider the common scenario where you meet someone who genuinely excites you. In the early stages, when your connection is new and uncertain, you're naturally more mysterious, more independent, more focused on your own life. This creates an attractive energy that draws them closer. But as they begin to show genuine interest, your subconscious mind starts to panic. Don't lose this one, it whispers. Do whatever it takes to keep them interested. And so you begin to change. You become more available than you were initially. You start seeking more frequent contact and reassurance. You begin to prioritize their needs over your own goals and commitments. You may even start to change aspects of yourself that you think will make you more appealing to them. All of these shifts happen gradually and unconsciously, but they fundamentally alter the energy dynamic that created the initial attraction. The person who was drawn to your independence now experiences you as clingy. The person who was intrigued by your mystery now feels suffocated by your constant availability. The person who was attracted to your authentic self now senses that you're performing a version of yourself designed to please them. The very foundation of attraction begins to crumble, not because they've changed, but because you have unconsciously sabotaged the very qualities that drew them to you in the first place. Marcus spent months working with Aurelius to understand these patterns in his own life. He discovered that his compulsive need to be the perfect boyfriend stemmed from childhood experiences where his parents' love felt conditional on his achievements and behavior. He realized that his fear of abandonment was so strong that he would rather exhaust himself trying to prevent it than risk experiencing it again. But the most profound realization Marcus had was that by trying so hard to avoid abandonment, he was creating the very conditions that made abandonment inevitable. His desperation pushed people away. His neediness made him unattractive. His willingness to sacrifice everything for love made him appear weak and without personal direction. Aurelius taught Marcus a revolutionary concept. The most attractive thing about a person is their relationship with themselves. When you genuinely love and respect yourself, when you have a life purpose that extends beyond romantic relationships, when you know your own worth independent of external validation, you naturally become magnetic to others. This doesn't mean becoming selfish or narcissistic. It means becoming what I call self-sourced, someone who generates their own sense of worth, happiness, and fulfillment. When you are self-sourced, you can love others freely and genuinely because you're not trying to get something from them to fill a void within yourself. The transformation in Marcus was remarkable as he began to develop a genuine relationship with himself, as he reconnected with his own goals and passions, as he learned to enjoy his own company and validate his own worth. Something magical happened in his romantic life. He stopped chasing women and started attracting them. He stopped trying to prove his value and started embodying it. He stopped begging for love and started inspiring it. The woman who would eventually become his wife was drawn to him not because he needed her, but because he had become someone worth being chosen by. She fell in love not with his devotion to her, but with his devotion to his own growth and purpose. She was attracted not to his availability, but to his selectivity, the fact that he chose to spend time with her from a place of genuine desire rather than desperate need. This is the path you must walk if you wish to break free from the cycle of relationship self-sabotage. You must embark on what I call the inner journey, a deliberate process of discovering, healing, and transforming your relationship with yourself. The first step in this journey is developing what I call radical self-awareness. You must become a detective of your own behavior, observing the patterns that emerge when you're attracted to someone. Notice how you change when you like someone. Notice the thoughts that arise when they don't respond immediately to your messages. Notice the behaviors you engage in when you fear they might be losing interest. This awareness is often uncomfortable because it reveals the ways you've been unconsciously pushing away the very thing you desire most. But this discomfort is the price of transformation. You cannot change what you cannot see, and you cannot heal what you refuse to acknowledge. The second step is understanding the root causes of your self-sabotaging patterns. This requires honest examination of your earliest experiences with love and attachment. What messages did you receive about your worth? What conditions were placed on the love you received? What fears were programmed into your subconscious mind about relationships and abandonment? This work is not about blaming your past or dwelling in victimhood. It's about understanding how your past has shaped your present so that you can consciously create a different future. When you understand why you behave the way you do, you can begin to make different choices. The third step is what I call identity reconstruction. You must consciously choose who you want to be in relationships, independent of your programmed patterns. This means defining your values, your boundaries, your goals, and your standards. It means developing a clear vision of the kind of partner you want to be and the kind of relationship you want to create. Most people enter relationships unconsciously, allowing their programming to dictate their behavior. But when you consciously choose your identity, you can override your programming and act from intention rather than compulsion. The fourth step is developing what I call emotional sovereignty. This means learning to generate your own emotional states rather than depending on others to make you feel good about yourself. It means cultivating self-love, self-respect, and self-validation as daily practices rather than hoping to receive these things from a romantic partner. When you are emotionally sovereign, you can love others freely because you're not trying to get them to fill emotional needs that only you can truly meet. You can handle rejection without devastation because your sense of worth doesn't depend on any one person's opinion of you. You can maintain your authentic self in relationships because you're not desperately trying to become what you think others want you to be. The fifth and final step is what I call purpose-driven living. You must develop a life mission that extends beyond romantic relationships. You must have goals, dreams, and passions that give your life meaning independent of your relationship status. You must become someone who is building something valuable in the world, someone who has important work to do. When you are living with purpose, relationships become an enhancement to an already fulfilling life rather than a desperate attempt to fill an empty existence. People are naturally drawn to those who are passionate about something meaningful, who have direction and momentum in their lives. Marcus embodied all of these principles, and his transformation was complete. He became a man who attracted love effortlessly because he had learned to generate it from within himself. He no longer sabotaged his relationships because he no longer operated from fear and desperation. He had become someone worth being chosen by because he had learned to choose himself first. The woman who became his beloved was not just attracted to his external qualities, she was drawn to the energy he radiated, the confidence he embodied, the peace he had made with himself. Their relationship was not based on need but on mutual admiration and inspiration. They chose each other not from emptiness but from fullness. You have this same potential within you. The capacity to transform your relationship patterns is not reserved for a special few. It is available to anyone willing to do the inner work required, but you must be willing to face uncomfortable truths about yourself. You must be willing to take responsibility for the role you've played in your relationship failures. You must be willing to change not just your strategies, but your fundamental relationship with yourself. The greatest tragedy I have witnessed in my years of studying human potential is the number of people who continue to repeat the same relationship patterns while expecting different results. They blame their partners, they blame timing, they blame circumstances, but they never look within to address the real source of their romantic struggles. But you are different. You are here listening to these words, which means you have the courage to face the truth and the commitment to change. You have the opportunity to break free from the unconscious patterns that have been sabotaging your relationships and to become the kind of person who naturally attracts and maintains lasting love. The path forward requires what I call conscious evolution. You must evolve beyond the programming that has been running your romantic life. You must become aware of your patterns, understand their origins, and consciously choose new ways of being in relationships. This is not about learning techniques or strategies to manipulate others into loving you. This is about becoming genuinely lovable by developing a healthy, loving relationship with yourself. This is about transforming from someone who needs love to survive into someone who has so much love within themselves that they naturally overflow with it. Remember, the subconscious mind responds to repetition and emotional intensity. To reprogram your relationship patterns, you must consistently practice new ways of thinking and being. You must repeat new beliefs about yourself and love until they become as automatic as your old limiting beliefs once were. Start each day by affirming your inherent worth. Look in the mirror and remind yourself that you are valuable not because of what you do for others, but because of who you are. Practice enjoying your own company. Develop hobbies and interests that have nothing to do with attracting a partner. Build a life so fulfilling that a relationship would be a wonderful addition rather than a desperate necessity. When you do meet someone you're attracted to, practice maintaining your independence and your connection to your own life purpose. Resist the urge to make them the center of your universe. Continue to honor your commitments to yourself, your goals, and your other relationships. Show interest without becoming needy. Be available without becoming desperate. Most importantly, practice what I call detached engagement. This means being fully present and genuine in your interactions while simultaneously maintaining emotional equilibrium about the outcome. You can care deeply about someone without needing them to validate your worth. You can desire a relationship without being desperate for one. This balance, caring without clinging, being open without being needy, loving without losing yourself, is the key to attracting and maintaining healthy relationships. It's the difference between love that inspires and love that suffocates. The transformation you seek will not happen overnight. Changing deep-seated patterns requires patience, persistence, and self-compassion. You will have moments where you slip back into old behaviors. You will face situations that trigger your deepest fears and insecurities. This is not failure, this is the natural process of growth. Every time you catch yourself falling into an old pattern and consciously choose a different response, you strengthen new neural pathways in your brain. Every time you choose self-love over self-criticism, boundaries over boundarylessness, purpose over desperation, you move closer to becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts lasting love. The woman who is meant for you is not looking for someone perfect. She's looking for someone real, someone who has done the work to know themselves and love themselves, someone who can offer love from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. She's looking for someone like the person you are becoming through this process of conscious transformation. Your past relationship failures were not evidence of your unworthiness. They were lessons designed to guide you toward this moment of awakening. Every heartbreak, every rejection, every moment of loneliness has been preparing you to recognize the truth I'm sharing with you now. The love you seek begins within you, and the relationship you desire starts with the relationship you have with yourself. As I have observed throughout my decades of studying human nature, the most profound changes occur not when we acquire something new from the outside world, but when we uncover and express something that was always present within us. The capacity for deep, lasting love is your birthright. The ability to attract and maintain meaningful relationships is encoded in your very DNA. You have simply been operating from programming that obscures these natural abilities. But now you know the truth. Now you understand that the power to transform your romantic life lies not in changing others or manipulating circumstances, but in changing yourself. You have the knowledge, and knowledge applied becomes wisdom. Wisdom applied becomes transformation, and transformation applied becomes your new reality. The time for excuses is over. The time for blaming external circumstances is finished. The time for hoping that love will somehow find you while you remain unchanged has passed. This is your moment of choice. Will you continue to unconsciously sabotage your relationships, or will you courageously embark on the journey of becoming someone worthy of the love you desire? The universe is waiting for your decision. Your future partner is waiting for you to become the person they can't help but choose. Your own heart is waiting for you to give it the love it has always deserved. Everything you need to transform your relationship patterns already exists within you. You need only the courage to begin and the commitment to persist. As Napoleon Hill, I have witnessed the transformation of countless individuals who dared to look within and take responsibility for their own romantic destiny. I have seen the most hopeless cases become the most inspiring success stories. I have watched people who seemed destined for loneliness discover love beyond their wildest dreams. And I have observed that the key difference between those who transform and those who remain stuck is simple: the willingness to change themselves rather than waiting for the world to change around them. You are not broken. You are not defective. You are not doomed to repeat the same patterns forever. You are a magnificent being temporarily limited by unconscious programming that can be changed. You have within you everything necessary to become irresistibly attractive to the right person for the right reasons. The love you seek is seeking you, but it can only find you when you become the person capable of receiving and maintaining it. That person is not a fantasy. It is who you truly are beneath the layers of fear, doubt, and limiting beliefs that have been accumulated over the years. Your work is not to become someone new, but to uncover and express who you have always been at your core. Remember Marcus and his transformation. Remember that his greatest relationships came not when he learned to chase more effectively, but when he learned to stop chasing altogether. Remember that his deepest love was attracted not by his neediness, but by his completeness. Remember that his lasting happiness came not from finding someone to fill his emptiness, but from discovering his own fullness. This is your invitation to the same transformation. This is your opportunity to break free from unconscious patterns that have been sabotaging your relationships and to step into conscious creation of the love life you truly desire. This is your moment to stop being the victim of your own subconscious programming and to become the master of your romantic destiny. The woman of your dreams is not looking for someone perfect. She's looking for someone aware, someone growing, someone who has taken responsibility for their own emotional and spiritual development. She's looking for someone who can love her freely because they have learned to love themselves completely. She's looking for you, not the you that tries too hard and gives too much and needs too desperately, but the you that knows your own worth and lives your own purpose and loves from abundance rather than scarcity. That person exists within you right now, waiting to be awakened, waiting to be expressed, waiting to be lived. The only question is, will you have the courage to become who you truly are? The journey begins with a single step, a single moment of honest self-reflection, a single decision to take responsibility for your romantic patterns rather than continuing to blame external circumstances. That moment is now. That step is yours to take. That decision is waiting for your commitment. As Marcus discovered in ancient Rome and as countless others have discovered throughout history, the greatest love stories are not about finding someone to complete you. They are about becoming complete within yourself and then sharing that completeness with someone equally whole. They are about two people choosing each other, not from neediness, but from genuine appreciation, not from desperation, but from inspiration, not from emptiness, but from overflow. This is the love that awaits you on the other side of your transformation. This is the relationship that becomes possible when you heal your relationship with yourself. This is the future that opens up when you stop sabotaging your own romantic success and start consciously creating it. The most successful people in love are not those who never face challenges or never feel insecure. They are those who have developed the awareness to recognize their patterns and the courage to change them. They are those who have learned to love themselves so completely that they naturally attract others who want to love them too. They are those who have discovered that the secret to being loved is not to need love desperately, but to be so fulfilled within yourself that love becomes a natural expression rather than a desperate pursuit. Your transformation starts now, in this moment, with this decision. Choose to become conscious of your patterns. Choose to take responsibility for your romantic results. Choose to do the inner work required to become genuinely attractive rather than trying to manipulate others into choosing you. Choose to love yourself so completely that others cannot help but notice the radiant energy you project. Choose to build a life so fulfilling that a relationship enhances rather than completes it. Choose to become someone worthy of the love you desire by first giving that love to yourself. The universe responds to who you are being, not to what you are wanting. When you become a person who naturally embodies love, respect, and purposeful living, you will naturally attract someone who appreciates and desires those qualities. When you stop trying to get love and start being love, love will find you effortlessly. This is not theory, this is law. This is not hope, this is guarantee. When you align yourself with the principles I have shared, when you commit to the transformation I have outlined, when you become the person I have described, your relationship life will transform as surely as day follows night. The choice is yours, the power is within you, the time is now. Stop sabotaging your relationships through unconscious neediness and desperation. Start attracting love through conscious self-development and authentic self-expression. Your future self and your future partner are waiting for you to make this commitment. Your greatest love story begins the moment you choose to love yourself first, completely and unconditionally. Everything else is just a beautiful reflection of that primary relationship. Write "I will be better now" in the comments if you're ready to stop sabotaging your relationships and start attracting the love you truly deserve. Your transformation begins with that simple commitment, and your future self will thank you for making it today.